dude.
I want to know what you're doing, Blanca. What exactly are you doing? You sound like
I'm
you're
devouring
enjoying yourself way too much.
popcorn with a little Valentina.
Weenobee.
Got a little spice to it.
That's nasty.
And a little bit of red wine.
Jesus Christ, that was like how many years ago?
Ooh,
Fuck.
my God. That was in our early 20s.
Yeah.
That was like over a decade ago.
Blanca
Over
goes,
a decade ago.
Shut up.
Damn.
We're all 22 right now.
I think all three of us still look good. Come on.
You know,
Or we're aging well.
Well,
Well,
I got more gray hair than I can
look
count
horribly good. So it's
We were just talking about
Sickening.
his beard, right? What do you think of his beard, Melissa? Rudy's
I mean,
beard.
What do you think?
it looks good. It's not very full because he can't grow hair in the majority of his face.
yeah, I agree.
It grows everywhere
But
else.
it almost-
It
it's
has a pattern. We were talking about how it does have a pattern, but it's just not like a full beard. And I'm just like, you know.
you can still do a lot. You know, you can do
Yeah.
like the little.
I'm not doing the handlebar mustache. I'm not doing the handlebar
Well,
mustache.
you can't
It's not
really
happening.
grow much of a handlebar.
Actually, no. The mustache seems to grow a lot, but if I do twirl it, it's
twirl at the end, like
you
the
know,
Salvador Dali,
it'll come out.
Put shit on it.
and then like grow it out, kind of make it look like a devil's like beard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah. Just kinda, like,
would
point it
work.
out, but-
Totally work for you.
That's maintenance though.
You know what I mean?
It's so fucking lazy. You know, that's the point. Like this whole like facial,
It's work, right?
Facial hair. It's just like basically, it's like okay, I get a little bit of good feedback, so I'm like, all right, I'll just leave it. And most of it's laziness, to be honest. And just
The fact
Ladies
that
love
you
it, don't
can't
they?
grow,
They love it.
some of them do.
the fact that you
Not gonna
can't
lie.
grow hair on the majority of your face makes it look like it's groomed.
It right? She's
It
got a point
does.
there, buddy.
Huh.
Less
It makes
grooming necessary.
It already
for you.
looks groomed.
Didn't think about that one.
Yeah.
All
One-
right. Well,
most definitely.
I mean, it'll be on for right now, but it's got its days numbered. To be honest, I'm thinking about like just letting it go come Halloween.
Oh man, yeah. I think it looks cool. I think that's one of the only things that if I were to say, if I were to be a guy, would I want to be a guy? Probably for the facial hair, because I would have so much fun with it, dude.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would so much. I would have the big old sideburns and the mustache that I'm telling you about, Salvador Dali, the ones you twirl up.
Handlebar mustache.
You
That's
know?
What
assuming
is it
that
with the
you'd be
handlebar
able to
mustache?
grow hair
Assuming
properly.
that I
Like,
could-
look
yeah.
at Rudy. Look at Rudy.
I'm not a very
No.
hairy person, so probably I.
Same.
Same here. Yeah, not too hairy.
Yeah, but it works, dude. How hairy are you, Melissa? Let's talk
I'm
about
not
how
very-
hairy you are.
I'm not very hairy at all. to be
Rocking a
honest.
new tattoo, or more. It's not a new tattoo. It's a touch up, right? Like,
Yeah, so
all
it-
across the arm.
Yeah, so it's
A full sleeve.
It's a full arm sleeve, and it's been a couple of years almost. And I finally went to go see my tattoo artist, Sean Hall. Fucking amazing guy, stellar guy, stellar tattoo artist.
Really clean
and
work. Yeah.
Thank you. He beautiful, like geometric design, mandala style. I have single color, like a pop of red, but I have like because I have like olive skin, it's almost like a neon red with like a little bit of an orange tone. But it just makes it look like a vibrant red on my skin tone. And
Yeah.
What are you, a glow stick? What's going on? Like, neon
now
what?
I am
Yeah.
now.
At least one arm is.
No, but I love getting tattooed by this guy because we always have like great conversations and whatnot. So he's just a super dope, chill guy, great artist. So if ever anyone looking for new work, go check him out. Sean Hall. That's SeanHall on Instagram.
Where does he work out of? What city?
He works. He used to work in Dana Point. He just recently moved to a new shop in Tustin. Capture
So you follow
Studios,
him
I
no matter
think.
where he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean he's like working on my sleeve.
And he seems to have
so.
like a light hand, like not too
yeah.
heavy. Yeah.
On
Some people will scar
Captured
you.
Tattoos, the name of the new tattoo studio he's working at.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah.
it was a beautiful shop I just went to.
Yeah, I love how it's just a design. It's not an actual picture. It's a lot of design. I
Yeah.
know there's probably pictures in there.
The only picture I have is this skull that's in my forearm, but everything else is like geometric.
Yeah,
and,
even the skull
and
has like a
mandala,
geometric
it's-
design
yeah.
in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, right on the forehead, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of stippling as well. He did a great job, dude.
What's the skull like? Did it have a special significance, or is
So I'm not very religious. I'm actually not religious at all. I'm atheistic. And I do believe that your brain is the center of you. It's your center of who you are, how you think, how you process, how you like your conscious, subconscious. So like everything. Like once your brain ceases to exist, you cease to exist fully.
Okay.
That's just how what I believe in. But brains don't look as cool visually. But the skull encapsulates the brain, so I just figured I'd put a skull on there.
We actually had a
That's
small
okay.
conversation about that earlier. I asked her if she believed in heaven or hell, and she said no. And then I said, but if there was a hell that you could imagine, what would be your idea of what hell is, like what hell would entail,
Yeah.
And both of us kind of had the same answer.
Yeah.
It's basically a type of repetition.
Hell would be
Torturous
repetition.
repetition.
Yeah.
Actually.
Torturous
Having
repetition.
to repeat
Yeah.
the same thing over
What would
and
be
over. I feel like
torturous
that.
for you?
I feel that would be torturous, having to repeat the same thing
Just
over and over
Repetition,
again.
Yeah.
redundancy
Yeah.
is
agreed.
torture.
Yeah, because it's like as humans, you just naturally want to change things up.
Let's do this. Let's do an exercise, Rudy.
Oh.
And then
No, I don't.
describe hell, okay?
We just did.
Like, no, but I mean, go further into detail about it. Like, what would be hell? For example, would you be alone? Would you suffer some hunger? Would you be burning in a
Well,
fire?
okay,
No,
it-
see,
it-
so
it-
that's
Can you just
that's a very interesting.
play along? Like,
So that's a very interesting topic, because that type of hell, I feel like, comes much more from a religious aspect, where like you're burning this, that, or the other. Like, I don't really believe in any of that. I think after you're done, you're dead. You're it's done. You're done. But if you want me to like play along and say like create this
hypothetical situation,
fictional like hell for me, like I'd probably be alone doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like that would be hell for me.
Yeah, with the yearning of wanting something different.
That would be hell for you.
That would definitely be like a type of hell. But I mean, it's just I guess personally it'd be dealing with, I would say, like public. Just dealing with public constantly, and they're yes,
Working at the
and
DMV would be
everybody's
Rudy's hell.
constantly aggravated, and you're constantly aggravated, and it's just like, oh my god, you just want to go home, but you can never go home. What about you, Blanca? Do you believe in
What
heaven
would
or hell?
be-
Are you a religious person?
I do believe that there is something there. I do believe that sometimes scripture, old texts, especially if it's been translated into so many languages, so many things can get lost in translation. So I would have to learn Hebrew to really know what the Bible, the book says. But more or less, I do agree with it. And I think what hell would be a hot place, would be a place with no rest, would be a place where I was alone, I think.
No rest for the wicked.
And again, I would agree with Melissa with repetition.
Yeah.
Day in and day out. Like
Do the
that,
same.
sheesh.
We were actually talking about when we mentioned repetition, we mentioned torturous repetition, and we started talking about the mythology stories and how some of them are, their ideas of hell are like, a guy pushing a rock up a hill constantly and then constantly being pecked at by like a vulture, and him dropping the rock, and it rolls over him, and he has to get up and do it again, and it's just constant, like he doesn't stop, so it's, we were thinking like that aspect of it too. It's really awesome, because then we just got into the whole mythology, like how cool mythology stories are and how brutal they are. They don't hold back at all. They were just like crazy ass stories, and we are learning them 6th grade and shit.
We just got off on like this random tangent where we just started talking about all these like mythology stories, or like, God, can you imagine being like Icarus's father, like flying, and then just watching his son like fall and die and like not be able to do anything about it?
Yeah.
He flew too close to the sun, right?
He flew too close to the sun, and so like the wax melted his melted,
wings,
and then
right.
the feathers came apart, and he fell from the sky and drowned, and all his father can do is watch.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, fuck, those stories are brutal.
It really made you. It's funny because it made you fear hell, but not from a religious point of view. It was more from a mythological stance. It was like
I feared Greece more.
Greeks, no. The Romans, no.
But
Well, the cool thing about Greek mythology, not that it is the case anymore, because I think they're probably I don't know, but back then they were polytheistic, so it was kind of made it much more. I feel like it made it much more interesting to have all these different gods and whatnot. But either way, I mean, I don't believe in any of them, but it just made for better stories, I think.
Entertaining, definitely more entertaining.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And it seems like in Native American cultures they had different gods. Like it wouldn't. There is a lot of cultures, communities that had more than one god.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who's to say whose God's right? Like,
Yeah.
No.
If there's a god of everything, then there's a god of a god, and if there's a god of a god, then that god has a god.
Yeah.
And it just kind of
And
goes
then-
on and goes on.
and I think Christians feel like they need to save their friends or people that are part of different religions, because if they believe in different gods, then they're not going to go to the Christian heaven that they go to. Like, so they see it as their job to convert those people, but it's like, it's not your job to convert those people. It's your job to respect their beliefs. Like, it's not your spot. Like, you just need to respect their beliefs and leave them be and let them believe what they want to believe. You know what I mean?
It's their world. Definitely. It's their belief. It's what they want. It's what floats their boat.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
should
yeah,
believe
yeah.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
I agree. I believe in Christianity. That's how I grew up. I practice as much as I can, because in the end, I'm not perfect. I always get criticized. But I mean, it has some good elements to it. Like, I think in the end, if I were to look back in my life and live by certain principles, then it worked for me. But it was never my job to play the role of God and judge. So I think people, when they take on that role, that's when it becomes corrupt. Because you can share your information. You know what I mean? If we can talk about abortion. If you're a religious person, like, no, there's no abortion. Zip, zero, zilch, nada.
Yeah.
But I believe that a woman should have a choice over
Absolutely.
her body.
Yeah.
If I want to reach to that woman, I would talk about God maybe. Hey, you know what? This offers this. Maybe consider this. But to make my religious views your life, your law, to rule over your body and soul, then I think that's reaching a little too far.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
abortion. I'm very pro-abortion and abortion rights. So
I would
Same
prefer
here.
the mother maybe give up the child for adoption, because then there's people like me who maybe can't have a normal birth, because my relationship, I'm gay. So if you were to have, if you were to give up this child, maybe I can adopt it. So that would work. But in the end,
Blanca, I
it
thought we
would
had a
be.
future girl.
But
I don't know,
that's one ideal situation. But like, the system's already full of like kids
Yeah.
that
The
aren't
system is
home,
very
like,
messed up.
and those kids have like been going from home to home, and a lot of them have been traumatized.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
not
agree.
Super
the
risky.
the
Yeah.
best of system. A lot of them are fucked up, dude.
There is so. I mean, we can start a whole podcast just talking about adoption and. But in the end, it's a life. In the end, I feel like
I think it's a life once it
some-
like becomes a life. Early on, I
if
feel
you
like it's not
nurture
really
it,
a
if
life.
you
It's kind of just molecules.
It's a mind.
And,
Cells.
who
and
knows
stuff,
this? Who would?
yeah.
Who's to say this mind wasn't going to create the next, life-saving vaccine or become a super important political leader or something? I just think a mind is such a powerful thing that
anybody can do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't feel like it's
anybody.
that-
I don't think
I
I,
don't
could be a very important
No.
leader. like,
I'm
just
saying that I don't.
or-
I don't think
You know what I
that
mean?
anything is destined to do anything. I think if somebody works hard enough and they want to work
Mm-hmm.
towards that goal, they can.
Yeah.
But I don't think that destiny falls upon something that's about to be born or whatnot. You know what I mean?
totally
I
agree.
disagree, yeah.
I feel that if for instance, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, and it'd be like, fine, then you killed baby Hitler. But I feel personally that there are going to be some type of Hitler that was going to happen, even if that
Mm-hmm.
one didn't survive. There's going to be something that comes about that's a type of
destiny
Hitler.
so you're saying that if he didn't fulfill that role, somebody else would fulfill
Somebody
that role,
else,
right?
it would have happened regardless.
You had
I agree with that.
There was
I do.
this Nazi idealism that like all these people stood behind it. So like all it took was one spark for it to ignite and like take off.
Exactly.
So I don't think that like this one thing that's like this one embryo or whatnot is like destined to be this bigger thing.
Exactly. It's just the way it worked out.
It just worked out that way.
It just worked out that way.
Yeah, this person just worked out to become this person, or
Exactly.
he just like he kind of was consumed by these ideals and like he wanted to propel himself in this direction, and he just ended up going in that direction. Like
Yeah, and he worked at it. He practiced. He would practice, in front of the mirror, giving his speeches. So I know he put in the work to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, he failed as an artist. So hey, maybe politics is a good outlet. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't.
Whatever. That's a.
I don't think Hitler was destined to be that.
I do
from the day
believe
he was
there's
born.
a destiny. I have to
do not.
disagree with
You
both
believe
of you.
that there's
in
a
this.
destiny?
Yes, too many things
Really?
in my life that I've noticed. They just the coincidence that is behind it. It's just it doesn't make sense. Like it was predestined, written. It's just like that's
Not everything makes sense, buddy.
It doesn't always have to make sense, but
Agreed.
I think it's a personal choice. The signs are there. You just have to be able to read them. For the longest time,
Or maybe
I
you're
believed
reaching
this.
for them.
For the longest time, I believed that concept. And then I went on this 30-day trip across the United States. And at the end of the trip, I read that sign in New York City in front of a subway. It said, the signs are there. We just have to be able to read them. So it opened my mind. It not only did it, was it parallel to my idea that maybe some things have been destined or written for that. Hey, some people agree, some people don't. But I do believe that some things happen for a reason. There's more than just a coincidence. There's a purpose to it. Maybe Hitler or somebody that's supposed to take his place, but the action, the event had to happen.
It's funny because I can see things happening for a reason, but I can't believe that everything has a logical reason. Some things just happen and you're going, I caught this red for some reason, and a second later there's a car crash in front of you, and it's just like if I would have caught a green or took in that red, I would have been involved in that crash. And it's just almost like you think about it and you go, well, maybe I caught it for a reason, but maybe the reason is so illogical that you're just it just happens. And it's just there's reasoning of why it happened, how it got there, but not the fact of like who was supposed to be there, and it I mean, like I said, I could understand where you're coming from on that aspect, how it could feel that way, but I can also see the other side of it where it's just like these things just happen.
And I've tried
I
to
think
convince
it's-
myself that it's not.
I think it's all chance. It's all chance. It
It's
just happens.
all a fall
You
of the
want-
dominoes. Like
I feel like it's chance. You want something to happen. You push yourself. You work through
I'm
it.
totally
but
giving the winner's circle to Melissa right now.
I can see
Blanca,
why
you're
you
just
give-
losing this. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, totally. You can side whoever you want, but I think it's more of a personal experience and to anybody,
No, yeah.
whether you believe that it does or it doesn't. I'm one to look at patterns. I'm one to look at the cause and consequences of pretty much everything I do. And I do believe in karma. You do good, you receive good, not all the time, or you do bad, you receive bad. Like it's an energy that goes back and forth like a boomerang. You know what I mean? What you put out is what you get. May it be in your work. If you put out good work, you get good response back. If you put out shitty work, you get shitty response back. It's a tug of war of energy, I think, and that applies to everything, I think.
So I do not believe in karma, but I do firmly believe that if you're an asshole, you will eventually piss off the wrong person. and it will come back to you because you pissed off the wrong person.
Now, is that considered karma?
It's not considered karma. It's just like if you keep pushing people's buttons, a lot of people aren't going to push back. But eventually you're going to push someone's buttons who's going to push back and fucking beat the shit out of you. Kind of, if that makes sense. And it may not be necessarily beat the shit out of you.
But then we'd have to go through every situation to decide whether it has a karma or not. Because, okay, yeah, that person did bad, and then you push somebody's buttons, and now you can smacked in the face. You know what I mean?
Just honestly, like, so I'm not religious. Not at all. I don't think that if I'm a good person, God's going to bless me with all these good things. And if I'm a bad person, God's going to, like, damn me with all these bad things.
May I interrupt you?
Hold on. But I'm a secular humanist. I do believe in being good just for the sake of being good.
Okay. All right. So let me backtrack a little bit. All right. So you don't believe in religion.
Mm-mm.
Just out of curiosity, have you read the Bible to kind of give you that idea?
I've not read the whole Bible. I used to go to church with my mom when I was a little kid, and I fucking hated it, dude. It was the fucking worst thing in the world.
Okay, so that's what I'm. That's.
But I've read, and I'm familiar with a lot of the stories, and honestly, dude, the Bible is fucking archaic as fuck, and some of it, like, in some people pick and choose which parts to listen to and which parts to believe in. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of them aren't necessarily, what do you call it? Very, like, lined up with how scientists have, like, seen evolution in the world come about. So, like, I feel like the facts are pretty much there, or, like, the dots are easier to connect there than to connect with what's in the Bible. What am I missing from reading the Bible?
Everything.
I believe in questioning everything.
No, yeah. Like
absolutely.
Take it as a scientist. This is where I approach the Bible. The church has changed the Bible to benefit whoever is changing it. King James Version is a perfect example. I also think that people's translation, or people will use it to kind of maintain power over the people.
Absolutely.
Translate it to their convenience.
I am not a fan of organized religion. I will say that for a fact, just because.
Damn, she went there.
Because so many people, religion does have the power to touch people and do good for people's lives, but I think it's done more damage throughout, like, these centuries than it's done good. The not only religion and the Bible promotes misogyny, promotes slavery. Like, Leviticus is fucking ludicrous as fuck. Like, I mean, come on.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about that.
I love your
ending.
I mean, come on.
Let me add that.
Let's look at this.
Roll out.
If I may add to that, I think that you're absolutely right. I think anyone in any level of power, may it be in religion, may it be in a family, in a household, the leader of the family, may it be in politics, may it be a boss
We're talking about religion, though.
Yeah. No, but let me get to that point. In any scenario where there is in politics, in a family, in a household, whoever is a leader will definitely take advantage of their power, because that is the human nature. So now, should we destroy politics altogether? Should we eliminate religion altogether? I believe the answer is no, because there is something good to be taken out of it.
I feel like you sidestepped a lot.
Since you said that it's basically
I'd like to bring a different perspective to this.
Since you said it's basically a human trait to want to, like, just abuse the power.
I think in
but
general,
these people need to be held to a higher standard,
and
though.
Of course, like, they should be.
I believe so. Yeah,
and
I agree.
Some offenses are worse than others.
Yeah.
But going on that, so basically it's like, okay, so it's not just a religious thing where they abuse power. Humans are going to abuse power regardless
in
if
any
they
scenario.
have it, if they have it.
Not every scenario.
It's not everybody, because you don't want to generalize and go, okay, well, anybody who's in power.
Name one scenario that wouldn't.
You've had great teachers in high school.
Name a scenario that wouldn't take advantage of power. A human wouldn't take it.
Not all of them.
I mean, some of them did
I'm
have
sorry
power
to
trips, but
say,
some of
but
them
yeah,
didn't,
I know a few.
Yeah,
Teachers
but
will
you
definitely take advantage
you
of.
can't say
of
all
students.
of them, though.
You can't say all of them. A lot of them.
Can we apply that to religion, to politics?
Yeah, which is fine.
Okay, so that's my point. That's my point. Like,
so what I'm saying is, instead of focusing on religion or home, we're basically now just focusing on humans and going, okay, well, humans now is just their traits are to get that power and abuse it possibly. So my solution is just destroy all humans. I mean, it's
Not so. Some people do have abusive power. Not everyone, but we're talking about religion, and those people need to be held to a higher standard.
what I'm saying is, don't get lost in what some people do for what good can come out of something. I'll be honest.
I don't know, dude. Like the
It's
amount
okay.
of
It's
people that
okay
they
for you to
traumatize,
disagree. It's
like-
okay for you to disagree. In the end, it's what you take of it. If it doesn't help you, then put it aside. If something else will help you, maybe yoga, maybe meditating
Look,
in some other way, then try
Another
that.
example,
You know what I mean?
look at all these televangelists that fucking get all these people to donate all their money, the majority of their money to them. And then what do? They're fucking rolling in Rolls Royce fucking furs.
oh yeah.
Some of them have multiple airplanes. Some of them have their own fucking airstrip in their home. Come on now.
This was meant for
Can
me.
we agree
Yeah.
on one thing then?
God,
Can we agree that I think we should agree that any form of power leadership should be monitored so that power isn't abused?
I agree to
it
disagree.
should, but it's not.
Okay. Exactly. In politics, we can go
But
anywhere
we're talking
with
about
it.
religion.
Okay, but I'm saying
mean,
in general.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because
Yeah,
you're going
yeah.
from more of like a what is
a
that?
human
like
nature perspective.
where you're going from more colors. It's not just one black and white. We're not just talking about. She's not just talking about religion. Blanca's not just talking about religion. Melissa actually is just talking about religion, and they kind of work in the same way when it comes to abusing power, to be honest. And it just depends on what their offense is. I mean, you got the religion aspect where it's just like they hurt a lot of kids, they hurt a lot of people mentally and hurt them financially. They kind of dupe them, into, making them like, okay, we'll donate to our church so that you can have a better or be closer to God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit.
They kept women subservient for so fucking long because of religion. Slavery was around for so fucking long because of religion. Come on.
I can't disagree with that. I really can't.
Thank you.
I can't.
Okay, you know what? Facts are facts. What I'm saying is that
Gay rights
in the end
didn't come around. We were fucking
Because we're oppressed because
we
of
were
religion.
oppressed for so long because of religion. We're still being oppressed. The way the fucking politics are going, they're gonna try to take away gay marriage, dude. They're gonna try to
I'm definitely going to vote
That's
against that,
because
obviously,
of
if that happens.
That is because of religion. Religion has no fucking place in politics, but for some fucking reason, they can't seem to keep those things apart.
Yeah, and I find that even people who don't follow religion or church, but they have that idea of like a godlike type of idea, then they're actually a lot better off than people who have actually been to church, because you find people who are in church and they're expected to be this way. They're expected to project that trait of their own humanity onto the person that is joining their whatever you want to call it, and they wind up being two-faced and just they're shit talkers and shit like that. You find out that a lot of them are just shit talkers and stuff, and it sucks because I don't want to generalize everybody, but there are a lot of shit talkers in religious circles, and it just
you
sucks.
go down south or whatever, and you find some of these churches that are holding these fucking signs about fag this, fag that, and they have their kids holding these signs with these words that they don't even fucking know what they mean. They're spewing, they're chanting this hate against the queer community, and they don't even know what they're saying.
No, they don't. They're just
being brainwashed,
regurgitating it. Yeah,
and that's part of fucking some of the religious communities down there.
Yeah.
But, if we're gonna pick on the religious,
so here's my point. I think religion has the potential to do good. I think it really does. But I think throughout time it has done more bad than it has done good.
I can agree with that one.
That's my that's my perspective.
I could totally agree with that one.
I mean,
you want to take it to
I'm very passionate.
If you want
about.
to take it to the next level, I mean,
Melissa started sweating as she's
we could all
talking
bring
about
a
it,
religious
so everybody
leader
knows.
and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bring an atheist, bring
Richard
neutral,
Dawkins, by
bring
the way,
somebody. Yeah.
is one of my heroes. If you, I wish I could, but I can't. He's too popular.
We can quote him. But anyways,
I like Anton LaVey, but that's a whole nother thing.
who is Anton LaVey?
I think he was like the leader of like the Satanic
Oh,
church or something like
so
that.
the Satanic Temple is a beautiful organization, actually. Which I believe in and promote. They are not people that actually worship Satan.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, they don't believe in Satan. The only
No.
people that believe in Satan are religious people like Catholics and Christians. But they use so they like
Wait,
they
don't believe in Satan, but it's called the Satanic Temple?
It's called the Satanic Temple. So basically, they kind of categorize themselves, or I can't think of the word right now, as a church in a sense, or like a religious organization, so that they can have the same platform as most religious organizations, and it gives them a platform to kind of push back against some of them. Because there should be a separation between state and religion. So whenever like churches want to put like monuments on like state grounds, sometimes they'll fight back and push against it. And then like for example, they'll probably want to promote putting like some sort of satanic like monument up in order to kind of like push them back in a sense. Like they don't really want it there, but they're hoping that if they do that, then the religion, like whatever religion will kind of like
Step back
down
a little
yeah.
bit.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you go online and read their tenets, they're actually just secular humanists. Like they like basically believe like in being good to people. Like if you do wrong to somebody, you you admit that you did wrong, you apologize, like things like that. Like like they're
I believe if
they're
if
not
my
they're a
memory-
non-religious like kind of group.
my-
They're a non-religious group.
If my memory serves me correctly, it's Satanism is a belief of oneself and not basically taking your sins and saying, okay, well, now I can, if I say so many Hail Marys, then I can be forgiven. It's like, no, like whatever you did, you own it.
Yeah.
And you move on from there.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure on the details,
Yeah,
but
they
it's something
believe in
like
themselves. They believe in being good. They believe in like owning up to things that they've done wrong. They believe in like facts. So like basically like things have been scientifically proven. Well, that is what it is. It's been scientifically proven. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember their tenets, but you should check out their websites. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, they are very interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. As far as religion goes,
There
or
is no
churches,
Satanism.
organization, there's spiritual outlet that you might look for. The spectrum is so wide that honestly, we could sit here and debate how everybody's wrong and how we're right, but in the end, it's what you feel okay with, like what you feel right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
I agree. You know.
I think that what you feel is good. It don't break any laws. You're good. Then move forward in what you feel. So
Yeah.
So
It is what it is. We have different religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs, but I mean, we still, at the end of the day, I think we love each other. We get along well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in the end, coexist. We're good. Everybody loves each other.
Absolutely.
Don't
Coexist.
harm each other.
Kinda, I guess. I don't know.
Move forward from that. You're weird. I'm weird. Let's be weird together in this planet.
Let's get weird, guys.
Follow me
Let's
on
get
Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We're at WeenobeeRadio.com individually.
Find me at Rudy, RUDIE Ramirez for Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, check out our Wicked Watch Parties on Facebook. Show a lot of horror movies. Join it. Melissa?
Be good to one another just because you can be fucking good to one another, honestly.
Yep.
But yeah, you can find me
Well
at...
said.
You can find me on Instagram at Mel_Lopez85.
And that's Weenobee Radio. Thank
you
you
go.
very much.
There you go.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Love you guys.